Good evening, everyone. Is my voice clear today? Am I audible? Okay. So, guys, sorry for yesterday. Some technical hiccup. You can say I was not able to get to the full potential of the yesterday class. So, we started with our that support vector machine, which can be used for your regression and classification models. I will try to explain the same today also, as well as the clustering. I hope the screen is also visible to now everyone. Can you please give the thumbs up if the screen is visible to all of you? Yes, also hope there is no glitches anymore. So yesterday I picked up the topic SVM, support vector machines. This type of technique is used for both regression and classification models. If you're looking for classification models, that means the output column, if you talk about, it should be categorical. And if you talk about regression models, then the output column you talk about should be numerical. So you can pick up the method based on what approach you are doing. Is it categorical or is it numerical? SVM takes in terms such as hyperplane, margin, support vectors, slack variables, and kernel. I'm going to explain all of them in the pictorial view. Okay? So, yeah, yesterday I picked up the data set and it said that I am a shop owner and selling these ice creams. Selling ice creams of multiple flavors, that kaju, chocolate, your strawberry, and many more flavors. As a shop owner, I would like to understand the customers who are visiting my shop on daily basis at morning, afternoon, evening, and night. Will they buy the ice cream or not? That is the question. So I will be preparing my model with respect to that configuration. So first of all, the data that I have collected for all the customers is the age, then the type. whether it is regular or non-regular. Regular means that the customers might be coming to the shop on weekly basis, daily basis, maybe alternate but also on the same time frame. There can be another column for time also, but I have not taken that. Non-regular are maybe people who are buying the ice creams on the go, once in a month, twice in a month, three times in 4 months, with that expect that I have not that I'm not familiar with. Gender, how much cash they are carrying while they're coming to the shop, as well as along with cash, how much or how they are coming to the shop, which vehicle they are opting. So is it car, scooter, or none? Only three unique values are there. So car will be little bit richer, scooter middle one, none can be richer also, cannot be. So I don't know. And on these features, on these input features, I would like to predict whether the person will buy the ice cream, yes or no. Only these things I have to predict. So I will train my model on the thousands of data or records that I have collected and will test them on the unknown values. I hope you got the point. So I have categorized these cases for you guys. What are yes, what are no. And these cases I have mapped on my x and y axis based on some equation while the model is training. So in this equation, if you put up every term for age, type, gender, cash and vehicle, it will make a unique record, a unique dot on the hyperplane, on this plane. This plane is known as the feature space. So all the blues, by solving the below question, all the blue dots are mapped here and on the green dots are mapped below. It's as per my design, but I don't know like whether they are going to be put up in the same scenario or not. This is just as per my design. And what SVM says that I will make some hyperplane that is able to distinguish between two cases in the best efficient way possible. Again, I am repeating, SVM at the backend try to make the hyperplane and it's a 2D plane. So I am featuring is like this, but you can assume the plane can be something like this, a rectangle. So hyperplane that is able to distinguish two type of classes with the 100% efficiency. And SVM works best if there are only two classes. Two classes like whether he will buy the ice cream, yes or no. If there are more than two classes, if you include one more, maybe, then it will provide poor results. Not that much also poor, but it will provide poor results. Not efficient with respect to different models out there. So whenever you're working with SVM, just take care of these things. Second important thing is that SVM takes a lot of time with respect to all other models. The reason is because it is mapping the distance of this hyperplane from all the points. And it has to also decide dynamically which is the best hyperplane. So that's why it takes a lot of time to make it up. And while you learn the same thing on online classes or with our batch, you will also witness the same thing. So this is another representation of the equation which you have already done in your 10th classes. So how we solve this equation? By putting the values of x1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as the values which are written in the table. So now I'm going to take different scenarios to help you guys get the pictorial view and which is the best efficient way for it. So for example, on this pictorial view which I was representing this xy axis, and this x is nothing but your combination of whole line which is written here. This is your x, and depending on what how it was trained, once the unidentified test case comes up, these are all the training cases. on which the model worked on. So it plotted some points, and when the unseen data, the test case that comes up, my model will be able to predict whether he will buy the ice cream or not based on the point where it lies. As of now, this is the point what I have got in my Excel file while I was working. So if you just change the data, you might get a different point in your Excel files. So I'm giving the best amazing way how it will look. So this unseen data lies over here. So this means that he is going to buy the ice cream. So what was the data what we have for that? Age is 21, boy, non-regular, had 600 cash, and he did not come in either car or two vehicle. He just came maybe by a bus or maybe walking, a pedestrian, on a cycle, maybe that way. So anyway, but this is how my data was able to look up. I hope I'm clear on this one. Now I will discuss the parameters what we have when which I highlighted over there. That is your hyperplane, what is margin, how it looks, what is eigenvalue, and what is that support vector. I will show everything here, over here. So scenario 1, let's have a multi-feature dataset that have classes as yes or no, same dataset, whether the person will buy the ice cream or not. So whether the person will buy the ice cream or not, that is the case. So dependent on these hyperplanes what I have mentioned over here, what do you think can be the best one? A, B or C? Which is working in the best efficient way to differentiate all the points? Can I have your answer in the chat box? Is it A, B or C? Yes. Okay, got it. So the best hyperplane you can also see over here is A. It is very beautifully able to identify the case while it was training the model. So while SVM is training on input data or data received, it made multiple hyperplanes, and on that while I was changing the hyperplanes, it got this A as the best position. This is the best position of the hyperplane that is helping me to differentiate these two types of classes, these blues and greens. So blues were where the person will buy the ice cream, yes, and green were he will not buy the ice cream, no. So in that case, she got the best way out. So this is how the SVM is working. Good one, good job. So A is better hyperplane. What is a hyperplane? It is defined as the multi-dimensional feature space that separates the classes. A multi-dimensional feature space. So considering this is my X, this is my Y. So this hyperplane can be the in this form. Although here I am giving a top view, but it can be in this form. How it is differentiating. Scenario 2, same thing. The person who that SVM is training on the data, train on data, and we have to tell whether he will buy the ice cream, yes or no. Now A, B, C. What do you think is the best one? Yes. Okay. Good. Good work. A is the best one. The only reason is because it is at the maximum distance. It is at the maximum distance from two classes. So it is maximum from blue also and green also. Although if I consider this blue one, it is able to separate both classes, but not the much efficient way. It is very near to my green cases. And similarly, if I talk about C, it is very near to my blue cases, very much far away to the green. So they are not at, as per that, they are not that much perfect. But A is at the maximum distance. And what you see, like how we decide the hyperplane with the help of this margin. The distance between the hyperplane and the support vector. I will discuss the support vector in the next slide, but this is the basic definition we have. So margin is defined as the distance between the hyperplane and support vector. So this is your margin. If I just color this one, it can be considered as the margin of A. This is the margin of A. Sorry. Okay. Next scenario. Again, some scenario is there, and I would like to recognize which is the best hyperplane. I'm not asking the question over here now. You can see here B is better this time. The only reason is because A was not able to specifically categorize this blue one. This blue one is lying on the majority side of the next classes. So it is not working as per the efficient way. Whereas B is able to segregate these two cases. B was able to segregate these two cases very efficiently. So B is a better one over here. So SVM selects the hyperplane which classifies the classes accurately before maximizing the margin. This is the new point to be discussed over here. Before it starts maximizing the margin, it sees like which is the best hyperplane first. Once it has received the best hyperplane, it will then locate, start creating the margin such that it is at the maximum distance from the nearest case. It is at the maximum distance from the nearest case. मतलब कि यहां से अगर आप देखो सपोज ये 5 यूनिट्स है सपोज, तो ये ज्यादा मतलब सबसे पास वाले वेक्टर से सबसे ज्यादा दूर ही पे है, हम दूर वाले वेक्टर को कंपेयर नहीं कर रहे यहाँ पे. इट इज एट द मैक्सिमम डिस्टेंस फ्रॉम द नियरेस्ट पॉइंट्स ओवर हियर. आई थिंक यू गॉट द पॉइंट. The next case that we have, now we have this case. The term that I'm going to define over here is that in this case, carefully see the hyperplane my SVM has got. This is the hyperplane what SVM has got by while training. While training on the data, it has got this as the best hyperplane. And when it got the best hyperplane, it recognized that there are 2 points which are on the opposite side of the hyperplane that are defined as slack variables. That are defined as a slack variables. These are the points only, the records. The person will buy the ice cream or not, but they are on the opposite side. Opposite means where the majority is maximum for one case, but the second point has come up. Similarly, majority is on here, but this yes case has come up. This is the yes case, this is the no case. They are known as the slack variables. So now you can integrate slack variables and nothing but the type of error. So less the slack variable, better is the model. This you can interpret basic logic. Less the error, better is the one. Better is the model. Okay, now highlighted the slack variables. Now see this definition. Okay, this definition is also good. Now it is highlighting the best cases. As per these best cases, you have to tell whether on this line, when the SVM on training the data, while SVM is trained on data and it has got the maximum margin. This is the maximum margin it has got. So this is defined as margin. So on the margin, what are the data points available? What are the data points available? They are known as support vectors. Support vectors are defined as the data points of one class lies on the hyperplane. They help us to decide the margin. So more support vectors, better is the model. So why the better is the model? Because it has got more proof. There are more records to answer that the margin that you have got, the hyperplane that you have got is the best one. The margin that it is producing, it has the maximum distance from the nearest. So more the support vectors, more better is the model. That is the scenario. And when I will also perform the same thing, you will see like how it changes up. The last scenario, this one. Now, once this type of situation comes up, you're not able to very much brilliantly able to separate one class from another class. So it is not linearly separable. Right now, they are not linearly separable. So you cannot create any hyperplane like this form or this form or any other form which is able to separate it out. So they are not linearly separable. So you might have to change the axis. So this is like x and y, and there is another z axis also. So we have SVM model at the back end that changes the axis to decide which is the better view, how we can differentiate the data points. So you can see here, while I've changed the view, so it can be z and y, and we have x over here. So we have very beautifully changed the axis, and then we come to know that we were actually looking from the top end previously. It was on the top we were looking, but actually it looked like this. So again we have one more hyperplane over here present. So this is known as kernels, how you're changing the orientation. So we defined in support vector as the kernels that help us to change the orientation. So it's a multi-feature space into it divides the multi-feature space into separable space by introducing linear or polynomial, sigmoid and Gaussian. These are the types of kernels that we have in SVM. I hope you have got the understanding of support vector and pictorial view. Can you give a thumbs up if you like this pictorial representation? Does it make the job easier to you? You can please give a thumbs up. Okay. Now I will be performing the same support vector, but I will be performing the same thing via showing you the steps. So we have here on GitHub, if you remember, we have uploaded a support vector over here. What you need to do, you have to copy this section and paste in a Google Colab. So Google Colab, this is the GitHub. So again I'm repeating, go to the GitHub section. This GitHub link is already shared on the page. Please look at the bottom of the video on YouTube. It's already available. So this is the link. You have to go to this link, and here is the support vector machines file. Copy this one and paste over in the GitHub section here in Google Colab. It will automatically identify which file you would like to put up. So I need support vector machines. So here is the file for support vector machines. Okay. So support vector machines are a set of supervised learning methods used for classifications, regressions, and outlier detection. FCMs are one of the most robust prediction methods, but the again catch here is that it is best for only two classes. For more than two classes, it will give you a poor results. So if you have that wget is the thing which I am using to extract this file. The file is also shared for my support vector. What data I am taking is present here. Fruit data and colors. This is a file which I have already kept. So we have just integrated how to get this file over in this section, download data. Symmetry. Okay, I've got the file. The difference between like the two commands are the link is over here. The link which is written over here is highlighting to this section, Python ML June, making machine smarter, and here we have one data set. You will use this link in Jupyter or any other platform, Jupyter or any other platform, any IDE for Python. But if you're working on Google Colab, it is a online. So online, I cannot be able to download data and save it in my local repository. If you're working on some local repository of that Python IDEs, PyCharm, Spider, or Jupyter, you have to run this one. This will download the text file present on my GitHub link and save it in the same directory where you are working. And after then, you will get this data in this form. But on on Google Colab, there is no such way. So directly put this section. So this is for Google Colab command. And then we have here slash content. Okay, so let me highlight one more thing over here. This is also for Google Colab if you're working. But if you're working on local repository like your Jupyter or your PyCharm, Spider, any of the local repository you have, you please write down directly the file name. It is going to retrieve the information from this particular file, and this is the file. Only 59 rows and 7 columns I have. Fruits data. So on the basis of categories, we have to find whether the fruit label is 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. And here, this is the head. Head actually gives you a view from the top side. And to get the view from the bottom, you have to use the tail function. So the data set how it looks from the top and how it looks from the bottom. We have head and tail command. Number of classes or names. This means I am finding unique values. I am trying to find unique values in my fruit name. How many unique values I have, and in fruit this label. how many unique labels I have. So you can run this one. We have 4 unique labels and 4 unique names. So I think apple has 1 label, mandarin has 2nd, orange 3, lemon as 4th label. So we need any one of the column between them. And then we are actually merging the same thing, labels and classes, looking at the information, info command. So this info command in machine learning gives you a description about the data types of all the columns, first thing. Second, how many records I have. So you can see here how many records, how many columns I have. I have 7 columns. So this is another information shown. The describe command actually helps you to tell about the statistics, mean, median, minimum, maximum, percentile. Is it 50 percentile, 25 percentile or 75 percentile? We then use the pandas to get the x and y from the data set. This is x and y. So x and y are the values over here. So we are using the pandas function to get the values from this part. So my x are the values of width and height, and y has the values of only fruit label. This is the only thing that I am taking from the data set. Only 3 columns. One is my width, second is height, and on the basis of these 2 columns I would like to predict whether the fruit label is 1, 2, 3 or 4. So only height of the fruit, width of the fruit. This is the only information we are taking to identify what is the label we can give it up. So model selection, we are calling this train test split. What does this do? It will split the data set, which is 58 records. It is going to split the data set into training and testing. I have shared the link over here. What is training and testing do? You can actually click on the link and read more on the browser, or you can directly copy here, paste in the browser. So what does the train test split do? You can read about the theory over here. 33% means that, for example, I have 100 records. I have 100 records and I'm splitting the data with 33%. So this means like 33 rows will be taken for the testing data and rest of the rows will be taken for training. So the model will learn from the training set. Once it has learned, it will apply on the testing set, which is unseen, and 33 rows in if I have 100 records. So I have shown the measurement here that when we split it up in X train and X test, how many records I have. So X train 39 records, 2 input values, Y train 39 records, 1 output value. X test 20 records, 2 input values, Y test 20 records, 1 output value. So support vector machines have a classification model which is known as support vector classifier. So this is SVC, support vector classifier we have. This will actually being called from this SVM. sklearn is the library which contains all the machine learning packages for machine regression, classification, or your unsupervised machine learning. But your once you got that model SVM, from SVM what you want, whether you want the regressor or classifier, that you have to tell separately. So I want my classifier and I'm training on the I am fitting the model on the training set X train and Y train over here. Once the model is trained, we are predicting the values on the X test. The model score was 75%. This I will discuss later on. Once the prediction is done, so we are going to match the predicted values with respect to the Y test which I preserved over here, this Y test. So once again I am repeating, you have split the data into the training set. This first is training set and second testing set. The model will learn from this training. So you have to pass X train and Y train. On testing while you are performing, you have to just test on the X test. Once you have evaluated on the X test, we will get the Y predicted, and then we will compare Y predicted with the Y test. That will help us to identify what are the errors or what was the accuracy of the model. So we are comparing over here Y predict and this matrix, we take it up and we have confusion matrix for that. After getting the values from the confusion matrix, this is what happened at the back end: training data and testing data. The multiple splits happens because it is actually trying to find the hyperplane. So I'm giving you the brief view of it, but still if you would like more definition, you can click over here and you can learn what is the cross validation, evaluating parameter estimator performance. You can read the theory from this page, you will get better idea. And the accuracy that we have received was 73%. So out of 20 records, 73% or 75%, you can take it up, nearly 15 values were correct on the testing data. So if you remember, in Y test we have 20 records. Okay, where was it? Here. In Y test we have 20 records and we got 73% accuracy. This means that my model, when it trained successfully, it was able to identify 73% of these 20 records correctly. So 73% is roughly 1314. 1314 records have been successfully mapped up, predicted in the correct way, efficient way possible. So these are the steps that we follow in the SVM. All the mathematics actually SVM is taking care. You don't have to worry much about it. I have given more details over here. I know there are much more theory available in the SVM. It's just a glimpse of the model that I've shown over here. You can perform the same steps to get the idea. So you can read the pattern recognition and the tutorial on the support vector regression is available here. Okay. Great. So this was support vector machines. Tomorrow I'm going to take the last one, which is your clustering. So I've made the presentation how the clustering works at the back end, what is the mathematics for that, and what other topic we have for today. Before that, let me share you the attendance link. So guys, this is the attendance link. Please take the screenshot, and the attendance link always works. If you have missed it, please just go back a few more seconds and just again capture it. It always works. Okay. Okay, so I'm now removing it. So I've got few things like to tell you. The team has connected with me that you did not get the clear view and need more understanding what is the Python program and what is the data science mentorship program we are offering. We have received few payments for Microsoft this Python also. So thank you for that. So guys, this Python program, what I tell you, this is the Microsoft certified program. You will receive the certification. The certification screenshot have been mentioned on the last page, how it looks. This is the Microsoft Technology Associate Certificate that you will get once you have passed the examination. See, we are saying over and focusing over this topic is because people who are freshers or are looking for the jobs in this market, it's a lot of challenge available now, and you will get the job in that 3 to 5 lakh bucket depending on what college you are working and what company is taking you up. That is a software developer designation, so average is like 3 to 5 lakhs. So if you have this micro certification, you will at least get 1 lakh more with respect to that average person. You will have passed this exam, and you have a more of this thing to be available on your LinkedIn, and how companies will approach. You will see a different view. We have ourselves witnessed that people who are taking this examination, they are getting better opportunities, or at least more package with respect to the average person. So 4-5 लाख तो वैसे देखो लग जाएगा आपका, बट ये पार करने के बाद, ये पेपर क्रॉस या पास करने के बाद डेफिनेटली एवरेज पर्सन से तो आपको ज्यादा ही लगेगा. People, we have some standards, surety that you have certification in hand, and that is also globally recognized. So this is the Microsoft certification what we provide. The Code Scholar certification will look like this sample, and we also prepare for the Cisco also. So but of course you have to pass all this. 70-hour preparation will be taken for the Cisco, and this is a letter of recommendation that you will get from the Code Scholar. You can connect with the team on this email ID or on WhatsApp, this email number, this WhatsApp on this number. But the team will already share this. I think have shared, I don't know, but I will update the team to please again share this PDFs with all of you in the WhatsApp group or on emails. We have got few payments for this micro certification. I'm looking forward to have at least few once more. We're looking forward to have a decent level job. कुछ अच्छी जॉब लेनी है तो इसके लिए आप ये कर सकते हैं. The paper value I have already shown you. The market value is 3700 around. The Code Scholar, the College Baba is providing the same thing for 2500, and that is also with preparation. It's the deepest challenge we can provide to you. There is no institute who is providing that Microsoft certification as well as preparation for that Cisco. You will have letter of recommendation and this one also. So you can connect with the team for more details. The next thing we have is the data science. This is the next program. It also includes the Python preparation, Python Microsoft certification. You have to pass the exam. That exam preparation is very extensive. 50 minutes, 40 questions. And it's not basic MCQ. Somewhere you have to write in the filling the blanks also. So accuracy is very important. We have professionals over here who are trained in this domain, and they will help you to pass the exam. They will give you the bandwidth of 15 to 30 days to prepare before you can come for the exam. Without that, there is no use. You will fail. Okay, so it's rather to take more time, learn more about it. So we are including this Python certification, data science mentorship also. And the course that we have here is data science and data designing concepts and analytics. It's a 1 week program. And then I think 20 hours for the statistics we have. Data structures and algorithms. Python itself is around 40 hours course. Then data science libraries. More practical version and more practical practice will be done on that. Machine learning, deep learning foundation knowledge, and performing all the algorithms, how it works. Theory will be all shared by the mentors over here. They are already working in the corporates. SQL. So if you are looking for a job as an immediate job as a fresher, SQL, data structures, and Python and statistics, they are the must. You have to learn. So there is no easy way. You have to work towards it. And this is again the deepest challenge. It's 5,000 for this data science mentorship. That includes the cost of the data that Python certification. preparation, certification, everything is included over here. So I think you can search it out. There is no institute I have also not seen personally. The students who I have taught, they are especially like this curriculum we have over here. So do this one to have a decent level job for 4 to 5 lakhs minimum in the market. This 5,000 nothing with respect to that one. ठीक है, 5,000 खर्चने से आपको 1.5 लाख ज्यादा नौकरी मिल सकती है. So please look at that benefit, not at that we are providing in the bulk and that. Please don't take it wrong way. So please kindly work on that one. I'm looking for more participation. I will personally also will take some batches. So let's see who takes them. And if it aligns in my batch, I will take all these responsibilities. But if you are late, then some other mentor will be taking the batch and he will also continue the same journey, what we do. So just do the best over here and get more knowledge on this domain. Okay. If you have any doubts, you can just WhatsApp to the persons over there who are working, the team persons. They will connect with you, or you can call them. I think on Monday they can attend every call. Okay, the number is also written over here, and the email address is also their company's email address. You can write over there. So I will suggest like I will ask the team to share the payment link also. You can, if anyone is interested, you can directly make the payment, or you can actually make up a query that if you're interested, you just please text in the WhatsApp to the person, to the team who are sending the messages for WhatsApp updates or in that similar way. Few payments we have received. We're looking further for more participations from this bootcamp program, and all the best for that. Data science mentorship fee, this program, the entire program, data science mentorship is 5,000, which is inclusive of this paper price, and that is also for mid July and June. After that, the price will be again 7,000. So people who are joining in June and July, they will be getting the flat 5,000. But people who are joining the institute after that, it will be 7,000. The institute will be back with the same old price what they were providing. So kindly join this one. You can come in my batch also. If you like the learning of this bootcamp, I will share more in my batch. Okay, I am also getting the query like where to check for that paper. Okay, let me show you. So guys who are asking, please look again. This is the Microsoft paper. We are not bragging about anything about it. You can write about Python over here. You can search it online. You can search any institute who is providing that much thing in that smaller budget. This is the Microsoft Python paper, exam 98381, Introduction to Programming Using Python. And the cost, if you take about with India currency, is 3696. So you can either directly pay over here. It's up to you. If you would like to directly pay, you can pay over here and do the preparation, or we are going to take the responsibility to provide the paper also, as well as this exam preparation also. Along with that, you can also crack Cisco. Even that is possible. So what else you can learn, and I think that is the best thing you can earn. So it's the highest in demand along with the Cisco PCAP. The reason is because it's the most expensive paper we have, $285, and that is known as the associate level, Python associate level. The exam fees, it's a 65-minute and 40 questions you have to get 70%, and in Microsoft also you have to get 70%. So 50 minutes, 40 questions. In the 40 questions in Microsoft also, you have to get 70%. Oh, huge challenge over there also. So aroundly maybe like at least 30 questions you have to done it correct. So Cisco paper is $295, around $300 paper. So 18 to 20,000 is the paper amount. So it's very much costlier, and that is the silver badge they give it to you. But they also provide the beginner level, which is known as entry level. This is the bronze badge. This is the bronze badge that you have, and the paper, the final paper is around 45 minutes and 30 questions. 70% here also. Exam fees, I think you don't have to give the exam fees for that. Maybe for other countries they are providing, because till this year also, like till March, we have students who are passing this exam without giving any fees. This is the entry level Python programmer. 70 hours course. I think written over here 70 hours. Okay, you can change. Look at it. These both are Cisco papers. Cisco networking academy papers are there, and we have Microsoft paper for Python. Okay, I wish you all the best for that. Make a wise decision, and tomorrow we can meet for last topic, clustering. I will explain the maths at the back end. So I prepared specially that tabular form, how the mathematics work at the clustering, and I will also show the same thing on the Jupyter Notebook or this Google Colab. You can have this GitHub link. We have the files over there, and this Python tutorial is the file which we have uploaded yesterday only. It contains each and every information from the basics, from basic data type string, list, tuples, containing conditional statements, containing functions, and then going further, NumPy, pandas, and your matplot. These are also covered. So you can refer this file here and download in your system, because if you take a soft copy or copy this one in Google Colab, it will be, you have to copy it and save it or download it in notebook format or Python format. I hope it is clear to all of you today. Attendance link have already been shared in the video. I would request you to just scroll back a little, just 15 to 20 minutes maximum, and you will get that link. So that's it for today, guys. Okay, so happy Saturday and happy evening. Take care. Let's connect the same time, 7 p.m., and finish our clustering at the last topic for this bootcamp. Thank you and take care. If you have learned something, how the pictorial view looks in the SVM model, how I have made that PPT, please give us a thumbs up. If you have any doubts, you can write in the chat box. Let's discuss the. If you have any doubts, you can write in the chat box. Okay, everyone. So I take a leave. I think you don't have any doubts. That's great. Keep up the good work and keep learning, guys. Take care.